who clearly does not know anything about the military.
You know, and also I feel insulted. I'm a morning TV host, and I've been here the longest.
Yes.
Where's my ambassadorship to Italy, Donald? Was it something I said?
Beyond what he's saying just about women, the scary part is the Secretary of Defense is the highest ranking member of the federal cabinet, and there is a budget of $841 billion. It's the largest government agency. It operates 4,800 sites in over 160 countries, and is someone who
All right, folks, having a little bit of technical difficulties here, but it's Wednesday and it's time for Pop and Politics. I'm KJ. Let me introduce you to my co-host. Back with us tonight is Nicole Bennett, Director of the Black Conservative Federation, and Shelly E. How are you ladies doing tonight?
Awesome.
Great. Excellent. Excellent. Well, tons of announcements today have come out of Trump's transition team. He is definitely draining the swamp and have picked a lot of nominees that some people love, some people like, and some people really dislike. And specifically the left. The left is going wild over these cabinet picks. We're going to get into that and all next. First, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. We're on YouTube and Rumble. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under the name Pop and Politics. Here on YouTube, your super chats and donations go a long way in helping us produce conservative content. Guys, we read all of the super chats right out loud. So please, that goes a long way. Any amount is appreciated. Folks, this is not just a podcast. This is a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that value freedom. Stand with us, subscribe, so we can amplify this rallying call for freedom. All right, if you haven't already done so, hit that like button. That helps to amplify our reach here on YouTube. And we want to get our reach amplified and get places like The View and Joy Reid and CNN and MSNBC lowered. So I really appreciate you. So get those likes up, folks. And we're going to get right into this. So ladies, I'm sure you've seen all of the stuff, all the hoopla around the announcements today. There's so many to talk about. We just saw The View. They were particularly speaking about the Army veteran Pete Hegseth. He has been nominated by Trump for Secretary of Defense. And they have a lot of stuff to say about him. I want to start off with you, Shelly. What are your thoughts on his appointment?
I am ecstatic. If only because the left is apoplectic. If that's the only reason why, then I'm going to take it. So that's it. That's it. This is Trump's administration. He gets to pick. There may be some choices that I don't agree with. Okay. That doesn't mean that the person is going to be totally bad. I don't know. I can't predict the future. But okay, he gets to pick. You all on the left, you loonies, you destroyed his first administration. Now this is what we call we won. We won.
Yeah, Nicole, what are your thoughts here?
I think Pete is a great pick for many reasons. He has 2 Bronze Stars. He's been to Princeton. He's been to Harvard. He's a smart guy. And if you've ever read any of his books, you will understand why this was such a great pick. He is, when I say, so anti-woke, that his mission is not only to kind of weed that out of the Department of Defense, but to inspire the group of patriots we have and encourage a new group of people to join. You know, it's remarkable to me that people look at him and go, oh, well, because he's on Fox News, you know, he's not qualified. So yeah, we have this thing, it's called Google. You should look him up. This is an all-around badass guy. I mean, from, you know, I got a thing for guys with really great tattoos. He's got some really great ink, and he's super smart. And when you talk about being veteran forward, there's not a cause celeb for veterans that he hasn't stood up for, put his money on, lent his voice to, written books for. This man is really a stand-up kind of man. And I think the troops are, on fire to have someone who looks like them, sounds like them, walks like them, talks like them, this millennia, not somebody who's 70 years old. So I'm very excited about that pick.
Ooh,
what happened? Okay.
Sure.
So I was going to say also, I would say almost totally beyond, and not maybe for a while, this thing called expertitis. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know me. First of all, they're just people. I don't care who it is. They're just people. Yes, we have different skills. We have different competencies. Granted, everybody has that. But I don't just simply call or, bow to someone's title because it has expert or behind it, or however many letters of the alphabet. No, I don't do that. I think Pete Hegseth will be a great choice in as far as I can understand, what he's done, what his roles will be. I don't care that he has not been a government bureaucrat. Exactly. Trump wasn't either. I don't want necessarily every government position has to be this long-term entrenched bureaucrat. Look what we've gotten with what we had with all these people like that. Titles don't, they don't really spark my interest, if you will, necessarily. Mm-hmm. Show me what you can do. He has served our country. He has literally put his life on the line. And I think he has more experience. Not only that, we have a lot of so-called journalists that think that they're scientists. Mm-hmm. They think that they can tell parents what to do. They think that they are, all kinds of other positions and qualifications that they are not. So why are we supposed to just believe them when they say this? Get a grip.
Yeah. In Trump's announcement, he said Pete has spent his entire life as a warrior for the troops and for the country. Pete is tough, smart, and a true believer in America first. With Pete at the helm, America's enemies are on notice. Our military will be great again, and America will never back down. Trump noted that Hegseth is a graduate of Princeton University, as well as Harvard University, where he received his master's degree in public policy from John F. Kennedy School of Government. He's had firsthand experience with war, writing. He's an Army combat veteran, as you guys mentioned. He's done tours in Guantanamo Bay, Iraq, and Afghanistan. For his battlefield actions, he was decorated with 2 Bronze Stars, as well as a combat infantryman's badge. So, like you all have already mentioned, seems really as a great choice to me. Sometimes, as you guys mentioned, you need someone on the outside to kind of look within and through all the bureaucracy and everything and see what's working, what's not working. So I think he's a great choice. I love, that he's, not on the inside, which neither is Trump. So we may get a new set of eyes to look at all of this and fix it. Now, on to not just his he was announced yesterday. Also announced, I believe today, was Tulsi Gabbard. She's going to be Director of National Intelligence. Kristi Noem, Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. Of course, Mark Rubio, Secretary of State. And the big bombshell that everybody is talking about is Matt Gaetz.
Matt Gaetz.
Nominated for Attorney General.
I heard that, and if I was a gymnast, I would have done some flips. I love it because you know what? He is like a dog on a mission with a bone. He is, like, what do you call it? Just straight eyes. When he focuses on something, he has no problem going after. And I mean that in a good sense, right? He's not just going to do lawfare like this administration has done. He's not going to just stir up controversies. He's not going to just blow things out and go and indict people for no reason. Absolutely, he's going to be focused. At least I believe, and I think he is. He's going to be focused. He's going to be concerted. He's going to be strategic, and he's going to clean up the DOJ.
It's going to be interesting. He is going to be, out of the people that Trump has nominated thus far, he is going to be the hardest one to get through confirmation, not because there's some deficit on his part, but people don't like him. I mean, let's just call it what it is. When he dropped Matt Gaetz's name, I could hear the herd of rhinos running to the press to give anonymous comments. He has been a thorn in their side from the beginning. He's held their feet to the fire. And even when they started screaming, oh, we're all on the same team, and he goes, act like it. Act like we're conservatives. Stand up on our principles. Stand on party principles. And they were screaming and hollering. This is a great pick. Now, me personally, I would have went with Mike Lee because, he's a constitutionalist and that whole thing. But Matt Gaetz is not a bad pick. That is probably going to be the most interesting confirmation hearing because, he meets all the qualifications. He's far and away qualified. Will the Republicans allow their own emotionalism to stand in the way of getting this dream team together?
Yeah. Well, not since Johnson left office in 1869. The only nominees voted down have been Tower, Lewis Strauss as Commerce Secretary in 1959, and Charles Warren as Calvin Coolidge's Attorney General in the aftermath of the Teapot Dome scandal in 1925. But my issue is this, because isn't Matt Gaetz under ethics investigation? Like, didn't he do something with some Chinese spy or something?
Everybody in the House has been under investigation. It's just what they do.
So there's nothing there with the whole Chinese spy.
I thought that was already resolved. No, I thought it was resolved, number one. But number two, okay, he's in the House. He can resign or be appointed to another position. That's only in the House if it was still the ethics investigation going on. So
it's still ethics, though. You don't generally want your attorney general to have an ethics issue going on.
He has not been charged. No, he has not been charged. He has not been charged with anything. These are allegations that had to be investigated. So just because someone makes an allegation does not mean it's automatically true.
Right, true. True. So, I know, but I thought it was ongoing, but maybe it's not then. I thought it was ongoing.
I don't know if it's still ongoing. I'll find out, but
so the way that they do that, KJ, like the process is if someone levels allegations against you and there's some, a reason for them to believe that, they open up an investigation.
Right.
Myriad of House of Representative members have been under investigation. And I'm not saying it's not a big deal because it would, probably do a little shaking of your confidence. However, this man he served in Florida's House of Delegates. He's been elected to the U.S. House of Representatives since 2017. He is absolutely battle ready for whatever they're bringing on board. When you take a look at who there's a famous meme that went around where the guy is announcing all of these like minor crimes, check kiting, domestic violence, indictments for car theft and all that kind of thing. And he's describing the people who sit in the U.S. House of Representatives. These are not people who are born in a vacuum by any stretch of the imagination. These are people who have real lives. And in some cases, they got elected without divulging all of their extra stuff that was going on. So they do have an investigative arm that takes a look at things. And sometimes it dies before the investigation's even up and running. And when there's a serious charge, a serious allegation, they hand it over to the DOJ and they work it out from there. I think that's much to do about nothing. I think the thing that's going to stand in his way with this confirmation hearing is that he's, when him and McCarthy started banging heads, child, the Hill was on fire. And I think some of those people are going to take this as their chance to get their lick back on him. But I think ultimately he'll come through.
Yeah, I mean, just on the strength of Trump, I'm for it. I mean, I hope that Trump goes all the way out on this. If he's nominated him, then I'm for it. Personally, I would have liked Jim Jordan, just the way he has been going at these investigations with Fauci and things like that. I really like Jim Jordan. But it is what it is. Gotta check these super chats, guys. Thank you so much. All right, so let's see here. We have Kung Fu CJ with the $5 super chat.
Thank you.
Says he will return the military back to high standards. Thank you so much, Kung Fu CJ. Again, with the $2 super chat, says Liv's head's going poof, poof, poof.
There you go. Thank you.
Curly Girl with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Justin Ware with the $10 super chat says, isn't it nice that Trump is picking actual men and women? I almost forgot what they look like. It's time to clean out the closets. Bless you, ladies.
Oh,
well, you almost forgot. Take a look. Here's a photo of some of Biden's cabinet when, remember these, this is the Secretary of Health, I think it was.
The Secretary of Foolishness.
Yeah. And then the bald-headed guy he was in the Department of Energy.
Okay, so, you're talking about the grand poobah of upper butt crack here. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous.
Yes, it is. I mean, this is what so you have the left going crazy over these picks, and this is what we had from Biden. Again, they would prefer a DEI hire over a guy that is well prepared and decorated for Secretary of Defense just because he worked for Fox News. They're trying to get rid of him or saying he's not good to do the position because he worked on Fox News. But they're giving us these hideous men. It's
but you know what's so crazy is they still haven't learned the lesson from the election.
Exactly.
The more that you hear them complaining about Trump picking standard type people, well, most Americans are much like Pete. We went to school, we were educated, we got jobs, and it may or may not have been in our field, but we did what we needed to do to get paid. And when an opportunity presents itself for you to do something that you're passionate about, something that you love, you jump in with both feet and it'll work out on the back end. And that's what happened with Pete. Journalism was a thing for him once he got out of the military and kind of settled down and started his family and that kind of thing. You have to feed those kids. Those kids aren't waiting for dad's, military career to jump back off. No. This is a beautiful thing. He's a wonderful person, a stand-up Christian guy. I think he's going to do terrific.
Yep. 7 kids. He's a dad of 7 kids. Married. I mean, it's great. It's great. Want to acknowledge another super chatter here. All right, let's see here. We have Paul Peterson. Thank you for
Paul.
Wow, thank you so much.
Amazing.
Says I want to read that. He says, keep up the great work, ladies. Bless you all. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
Continue spreading truth, guys. And again, hit that like button. We want to get the likes up for this broadcast. We want to keep our broadcast high up on the YouTube algorithm. So please continue to like, share, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe. So speaking of, I don't even know what you would call this, just nitpicking, nagging voices that have been pushing back at Trump's nominees is, of course, dried up Don Lemon. Take a look at this clip.
Must have been hacked. And then I saw this. An official statement from Donald Trump saying, I am honored to announce that I have nominated Pete Hegseth to serve in my cabinet as the Secretary of Defense. What? At first, some of these folks, these nominations, I said, okay, or appointments. All right, they're a little extreme, but there were some normal people in there, kind of normal, like Marco Rubio or Mike Waltz, a couple of, just regular old Republicans in there. But Pete Hegseth, the morning weekend host on Fox News, come on. Must have been hacked.
Wow. Come on.
This is the problem where we are with American journalism. He took no time to do his investigation, to look behind the scenes, to gather data. He took his very DEI super woke self directly to his cell phone to make this little video without knowing all the facts. This is the problem that we have with American journalism, and this is why the legacy media is in trouble. They're losing viewership because of things like this. Now, Don Lemon is a jackass every day, all day long. We all know that. But that is what we call malpractice in journalism. Do your homework, homie.
That's what we call a dribbled up wuss. I'm trying to keep it nice tonight. That's what we call a dribble up wuss. And he's always in somebody else's ass. And I don't mean that literally. I'm just saying that's just a figure of speech, okay? But that's just a figure of speech. But nevertheless, I'm sorry. Nevertheless, Where's Dawn? I'm sorry.
You got me giggling. I'm sorry, ladies.
I'm sorry. When Don Lemon is he's jealous, he's petty. You know, he was kicked off of wherever he was. CNN,
Everywhere.
Like you said, Nicole, the legacy media ratings have MSNBC, CNN, their ratings are literally in the toilet. Okay. Don, you know, just do what you're doing, build your, I guess, your audience back up or whatever it may be. But Pete Hegseth is going to be in the Department of Defense, and you're just going to have to get over it, pussy.
Yeah.
Also, a couple other nominees that he's made appointments for with Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk. They are going to lead the Department of Government Efficiency, which is probably one of the most important jobs within this administration. What do you got? What do you ladies think of that?
Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait for them to come out with merch because I want a t-shirt, I want a hat, and I love that this is a limited time only type of thing, and it's going to end on the 250th anniversary of our great nation, and it should be amazing. It should be absolutely amazing. There's so much waste that happens when we talk about federal buildings post-COVID that are sitting at like 5, maybe 7% capacity, and we're still renting the entire building. I think there's a lot of waste that's going on. Some easy pickings. I think it's going to be pretty hard to keep their hands off of Social Security and Medicare, not the benefits part, but the
structure, the management of it. Yes.
So I think this is going to be a very interesting time because Shelley, I know you know, when Barack Obama was struggling with the economy and to get the economy back on its feet, they hired a bunch of kids straight out of college directly to CSM or CMS. And when they went to CMS, it kind of blew that agency into this behemoth thing.
Look, go ahead.
It's time to reduce that, to repurpose.
It's been time to reduce. This is what I don't understand. When we talk about taxes is one side, as well as spending, expenses. Our government is too big. Our governments do not self-select, if you will. They don't choose to remove their power, to remove their scope. They get bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where it's really unmanageable. And so it turns into a lot of waste. It really does. I mean, I don't understand why people don't understand that. Half of the agency, the ABC, alphabet soup agencies, half of them we could probably get rid of overnight. And the other half of those could go the next 6 months or whatever. I don't understand. What is it that people think they're going to miss? And now, if you paid into Social Security, you get veterans benefits. Oh, okay, fine. Let's even take that off the table. But all of these other agencies and just the scope and the magnitude of their tentacles, what is it that people think that you're going to miss? You're going to have more of your own money, less time that you're spending trying to navigate all of these behemoth rules and regulations that also drain your time and your energy. What are you going to miss? You're going to have more control, more autonomy, more freedom for your life and your family.
Absolutely.
I agree.
We have a super chat here that even puts it all in a nutshell there. I think it was Kung Fu CJ. Yeah, says $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Says Elon and Vivek are going to drain the swamp because they run businesses. Absolutely. Yes.
And I agree, because they're so uber wealthy, people won't be able to sway them with trinkets and baubles. You know what I mean? And these are guys who have kind of taken a look from the outside and said, oh, well, you know, this is easy pickings. There are agencies that do work that's duplicative. You know what I mean? So why have two agencies that do one thing when we can just have one agency that does that one thing and make sure that
do half of that?
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's like, let's make it simple. If we keep it simple, stupid, right? Like number one rule in business, if we keep it simple, stupid, it'll be much easier to manage. That was one of the things that they were talking about, Pete, today, that how would he ever manage this major bureaucracy that is the Pentagon? Well, how about if we reduce the bureaucracy and let him deal with the soldiers, the sailors, the Space Force. Do the things that he's supposed to do and not have to worry about, oh, you forgot to sign this form or in triplicate and this has to be emailed. In fact, we can reduce that significantly and get a much more efficient government. Everybody would love that.
Yeah, we got another super chat here. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you
Certainly
all.
appreciate you. Yes, Laura Matisse Mondando with the $10 super chat says it's always difficult to start all over with new folks. They look like tough guys. Trump is going to do what he said he was going to do. Absolutely. And that's what it's all about.
That's what he's going to do. Yep.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. You know, and another thing, you know, this is the core, what the core is supposed to be of conservatism. We are conservative with our spending. We are small government. This is what we were known for. And the Democrats are the total opposite. Right here in Maryland is a perfect example of what has gone on. We had Hogan for 8 years?
Yes.
We had a surplus.
$5
now
billion.
out today, they just broke. Maryland faces a $2.7 billion budget deficit. It's the worst in 20 years. And we just got a Democrat, Wes Moore, who, if you guys don't know, you probably will know because he's on the fast track into the presidency. They're going to probably put him up in 2020.
Oh, yeah, 2028.
Right. Yeah. So he's our governor now, and we have a deficit. All we want to do is spend.
But, you know, we have more than a deficit.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'd say for regular folks. I call myself regular folks, regular Americans who, you know, you have to work. If you have to account for your money at the end of the month, you have to balance out your checks. You have to say, well, you know what? I can't do X this month because I don't have enough money, or I might have to work a little, whatever the case may be. Why would we demand any less from the government who takes our money almost, pretty much compulsorily, right? Forced compliance. They take our money. Not only do they take our money, they use it in ways that we would not use it ourselves. Our money will go to X organization, B organization. We wouldn't donate it ourselves to that organization, or maybe you would, but that's not the point. It should not be forced compliance and then done with whatever they want. And we really have zero accounting for it. And then I will end with this. Dennis Prager, again, he has this quote. He's been saying it for, almost 30 years. The bigger the government, the smaller the citizen.
That's very true. You know, this thing with Wes Moore is bigger than the $2.7 billion deficit. It's a $7.7 deficit. Wow. Because he started with $5 billion in surplus, spent through that, and then continued to spend in 2 years.
Woo!
In 2 years. So here's what's going to happen here in Maryland. They're going to have to level more taxes. I mean, this is what they have to do, right? That means what we call service level taxes. That means taxes on getting your hair done, your nails done, your car detailed, not your already 6% sales tax, but an additional tax above that. Now, they toyed with this idea last year, and we kind of got activated and really excited about fighting it off, but they want to do a mileage tax.
Wow.
Now, you know how much Marylanders love their cars. I live in the country. I know people who get in their car and drive to the mailbox and then drive back. You know what I mean? So, and I don't know any Marylander who's not on a weekend, you know, spit shine in their car. Because that's what we do in this state, right? It's a very mid-Atlantic thing. They're going to say that you can drive a set amount of miles, and any miles above that, you're going to pay an additional tax on. Now, not again, your income tax, not your county tax, not your city tax if you live in the city, not the taxes that we pay when we registered the car, not the taxes that we pay when we have to buy a new sticker. No, not the tax. Well, I call it a tax that we do for when you have to take your car over for VEEP. Emissions testing, because not everybody in the state has to do emissions testing. Only certain counties have to do emissions testing. So when you pay all of that, now you're going to have to pay additional for your mileage over what they say. Now, if you have an Easy Pass, you know that Easy Pass transponder anywhere in your car, they know where you are. So people like me who drive from Garrett County to, Ocean City and then back to Charles County, my tax bill is going to be ridiculous
This is crazy.
Number of miles I drive. But this is what happens when he's smiling in your face and everybody says, oh, Westmore's a heck of a guy. When he puts his hand in your pocket up to the elbow, you will have flashbacks of Martin O'Malley. And that is how Larry Hogan defeated him. This is precisely how Larry Hogan defeated Martin O'Malley. So I'm looking forward to these taxes. Not that I intend to pay, a bunch of money on them, but we're going to fight as much as we can. But if these taxes do come to fruition.
Oh, some of them already are in effect.
This gives Maryland Republicans a hammer to beat them over the head with.
Yeah, but this is what people voted for. And as you guys can see, they're trying to fast track this guy on the national stage. It's going to be between him, Gavin Newsom. You guys mark our words. And this is why this podcast or this show is so important, because we are here in Maryland, which some people can call Little California. Places like here, Baltimore, California, this is where the left kind of cooks up and get started with their politicians. And so, and so they started on a small stage, and then they, the goal is to push it out across the country, whether it be president, vice president, what have you. This is what they're trying to do. And folks, this is not good. Somebody commented about this. I believe we have a super chat here. Laura Matisse says, hey guys, Kamala is broke already. Can you imagine her having our money? Most of these Democrats are not good stewards of money. They just are not.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Most politicians are not, because you know why? Number one is not their money. Number two is basically carte blanche access, because you have taxes, more taxes, fees. And again, some states are better with their income taxes, things like that. But on the whole, we, the American citizen, we're the ones that's on the dole for this, because it's our families, our livelihoods, our future generations that are going to have less and less of the access or the things that they're supposed to have, because there's going to be no savings, if you will.
Listen, if you hate taxes, if you hate taxes as much as I do, regardless of what state or nation you live in, go ahead and hit that like button so we can have a moment right here, right? A moment right here. This is outrageous. When you think of the founding fathers here in the United States, if they had an inkling of what happened today, they would burn this place to the ground and start over again.
There would be no more tea at all in China.
Listen, when Martin O'Malley was in office and he came up with that rain tax, I was one of the people that was like, okay, I'm heading over to the Bay and I'm dumping every piece of tea I can find in this mother scratcher. I had it up to here with him. The audacity of taxing the rain. So I wrote him a nice letter. Dear Governor O'Malley, please go ahead and turn my rain off. I'm going to be okay. Signed, Nicole Bennett. And I meant that, like, from my soul. Just move the clouds, whatever you got to do. I don't want any rain. I could not take one more thing in this state to have to pay for. And this is why no one retires here, because it's so expensive to live in Maryland. It's incredibly expensive. Is Maryland a beautiful state? Yes. We have mountains, we have the bay, we have the ocean, and everything in between. And believe me, I've been in every little nook and cranny of this state. It is an God awfully beautiful state, and we're blessed with wonderful mid-Atlantic weather. The problem we have is these Democrats haven't met a dollar they can't spend.
Right? You're absolutely
$7
right.
billion in 2 years.
Absolutely.
2 years.
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And this is why, going back to Trump's nominees, this is why, some of them I'm a little bit more enthusiastic than others. But if this is what he knows and he needs to drain the swamp dry. Let him do it. Let him do it. He deserves it. He deserves it. I posted this on my social media earlier. All the crap they put Trump through 2020. We know now the numbers. See, that man won the election. He won that. Okay, then they try to bankrupt him. They try to use lawfare against him. Then they try to take away his life. Let him have it. Let him have his picks.
It's going to be
absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
going to be good. And I'll tell you what, if they can say, oh, no to this one, no to that one, someone not get confirmed, it's okay, because our bench is so deep. Listen, you better take Matt Gaetz, because we got somebody a little bit further right than him. You better take him and be happy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We will drop Mike Lee on you. And Mike Lee is unforgiving. That man is absolutely unyielding when it comes to the Constitution. You better be happy with the good congressman from Florida.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
happy
yeah.
with him.
Oh, yeah. Let them have it. Let them have it. No mercy.
Absolutely.
No mercy.
They
For the
shot
next
him in the
4
head.
years.
Come on. They shot Trump in the head. Yeah, he should get his picks.
Yeah.
He should get his picks.
So, speaking of that, I want to talk about Joy Reid. This woman,
Oh,
you
Lord.
guys, Trump is driving them mad,
She's losing.
insane,
She's losing it.
insane. Take a look at this clip of Joy Reid talking about white women.
Hey, I just want to give some free advice to the white progressives, particularly white progressive women who may be thinking about marching against the Trump victory, maybe putting back on the P-word hats and doing that thing. I would just say probably don't send any of those invites to any Black women you know. I'm just going to tell you right now, they're not coming. Like, I'm pretty sure Black women have resigned from the Save America Coalition, Save Democracy Coalition, and definitely the Save the Democratic Party Coalition. I think that's probably not happening. I would just keep those invites maybe among your own friends, because I don't think they're coming. But yeah, I think Black women are now on the Save Black Women, Prioritize Black Men, and prioritize Black communities, Black businesses, and that. And the Black spaces, but Save America, Save the Democratic Party. Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
What is she talking about?
But
Why is she here?
Do
Why
you-
is she here?
They haven't learned a thing. They are still siloing people based on the color of their skin. It is so ridiculous to me that when you think of what they think they stand for, this inclusiveness and this, I don't see skin color, and we're all equal, and, kumbaya and whatnot. These are the most hateful, bigoted folks I have ever seen. So nobody invite Joy nowhere, because she needs a minute.
that's what she's upset about. That's what she's upset about.
A therapy session, maybe a massage. Girl, go to the spa and let them work it out. Get you a deep tissue, and lay back and enjoy it for a minute. Something's horribly wrong with her.
Somebody said in the chat that she's insane, and I agree. She is insane. I think it was Lazarus. She's upset. I think she's upset that she has not been invited. Number one. Who are these white women that are listening to her and taking her quote unquote advice? Who are they? If they are as crazy as she is. So there's no need to even talk to them. I mean, they're not even understanding or grasping whatever she's saying, because they're all crazy. She is losing it. If she has not already lost most already, she needs to be right up there. Maybe with her sourpuss friend, Don Lemon. I wouldn't recommend that she be all in somebody else's ass like he is, but I mean, they're crazy. They are crazy.
This makes me
Just to hear her speak, and this isn't the first time. This certainly is not the first time, but to hear her speak about just white women in general, and then white leftist women, I don't understand how people don't start calling her out on the left. I don't. She's a racist. She's unhinged. I don't understand how people don't call her out for her hateful rhetoric. How does she still have a show on TV? I don't understand it. I really don't.
Her viewership has gone down, and people are afraid that she's going to roast them. I mean, people on the left are afraid that she's going to roast them. Here's the problem with people like Joy. She is so much of herself has gone into this foolishness that she believes. So much of her income is based on, propagating this foolishness to white women. So she's taken this really personal. This is an affront, not to just who she wanted to win the election, but to her personhood. So she's going through some things. Again, she just needs a timeout. Let's just give Joy some space. But here's a little information. She should not speak on behalf of Black women. Honey, we didn't have no election. I did not cast a ballot. You don't speak for us. Speak for you.
Right.
Nicole, she might have that timeout because, again, according to the latest polls, MSNBC and CNN, their ratings are in the tank. So she might be having some more timeout, more than she might want.
She needs a break. She does.
Oh,
I mean, just from a human standpoint, you look at her, she's not well.
No.
She's not
well.
Yeah, like she's not good. Whoever loves her should hug her, just take her shopping, buy her some shoes, something to make that thing right. Girlfriend is struggling with it.
I want to acknowledge our super chatters here. Folks, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you. We see the chat is on fire. So thank you guys. Vita with the $2 super chat sounds like Callie. Good luck talking about Maryland. I know. Kung Fu CJ with the $2 super chat says Trump offered to pay Harris $20 million debt. Right, he did. I don't know if he was trolling her or what, but he did. Jay Hunter with the $5 super chat says, hello, ladies. Didn't Maryland have a Republican governor before your current governor, or was he just a rhino? Yes, we did. We had a Republican governor, Larry Hogan. He was one of the never Trumpers. But it's just as far as Maryland is concerned, he was pretty good up until the lockdowns, I would say.
He got a little bit of TDS too.
Yeah, right. But he left us with a surplus, and now we have a deficit. So
yeah, that was a big swing too. But you're looking for a great Republican Maryland governor, Governor Bob Ehrlich. Governor Bob's my favorite governor of this state in the history of Maryland.
Yes, absolutely. Vita with the $5 super chat says Joy Reid is upset. She has beautiful Black women like your platform to compete with. Thank you, Vita.
Vita.
Yes, Jay Hunter Lee with the $5 super chat says Joy's days on TV are coming to an end. Oh, I pray you are true or correct. She's about to. I didn't finish seeing that. She's about to be a YouTuber out her living room. Yes, indeed.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Laura with the $5 super chat says they are all nuts and sore losers. She needs a good date. Absolutely. She certainly does, Laura. Vita, she says, Shelly, your Southern drawl is a gut buster. Thank you, Vita.
Thank you all.
All right. So I want to move right along here. So speaking of this whole idea of these leftists losing it and things like that, Charlamagne The God came out recently. You know him he's the radio host, or one of the radio hosts on New York City's Hot 97. Is it Hot 97 he's on?
I don't know. It's just the Breakfast Club. I don't know.
Breakfast Club. Yeah, the Breakfast Club. And he, I want to get your guys' thoughts on what he said. He's talking about how before the election, many on the left were calling Trump a fascist, dictator, all this type of stuff. Vice President Kamala Harris, called him this multiple times, as you guys recall, in the CNN town hall. Anderson Cooper asked her point blank, do you believe he's a fascist? She said yes. But now, and he says, and I quote, don't you all find it strange that now that he's won, they're not calling him a threat to democracy? They're not calling him a fascist. I mean, damn, on Monday, they were just calling him that, he continued. I would think that, if you really believe that, then somebody's speech would be about how America effed up and how things are about to be really bad. It just makes you wonder how much of it did they really believe, or how much of it was just politics. So how much of it was? What do you all think? Let's start with you, Shelly.
I've heard some people, say Charlamagne is basically, whatever, grifting. He's over time. I have a problem with him since the election. I actually like that he is challenging himself. He's challenging and questioning what he heard, what he believed, to what is actually being presented in front of him. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, he might wind up in a different conclusion, but I don't have a problem that he's actually going through that process, this cognitive dissonance, if you will, that he can't he's trying to rectify it some kind of way. I think that's a good thing for Charlamagne.
Yeah, I would say so too, Shelly. But the problem with Shaw is that it's a temporary thing. With a lot of I shouldn't say a lot, but some of the Democratic voters are followers. They want to follow what's popular. You know, a lot of people that made me so crazy during this election cycle, after the election, were crying and snotting and stuff all over social media, had no idea about what either candidate wanted to do for the nation.
Right.
They just kind of latch on. So when you have those kind of particular voters who are not very much aware of the politics that are going on, they just follow behind the crowd. That's a good thing for us, because when you're the popular kid, and guess what, ladies, now we're popular, right? Now that we're the popular kids in school, they're going to follow us. It's up to us to educate them now. So I agree with you that it's good that he's asking questions.
Mhm.
He's good that it's finally wrapping his mind around, well, maybe it's not right to think the only reason we're going to vote for you is if you write Black people a check or let us have free weed. You know what I mean? Maybe our community is worth more than that. You know, maybe there are people in my community who want jobs that don't lead to prison. You know, maybe there are people in my community who want to live in safer places. So we don't want to defund the police, and we don't want transgenders reading books to our babies in school. So there are a lot of social issues that in his head have never come to the fore because he believed all this stuff. It was fed to him. I think this is a good thing for him to grow up. I think it's a good thing politically grow up for him to say this out loud so other followers can hear it.
Yes.
You know, it's one thing to talk about it, you know, quietly on the set when the camera's not rolling. It's a whole nother thing to question, you know, the knowledge base of what you've been fed your entire life publicly. Yeah.
That's why I won't beat him up for this, because I mean, at least from what I'm seeing, as best as I can tell, he seems to be really sincere and maybe struggling with it. I'm not going to beat him up for that. It's a process. You know, again, he might come to quote unquote the wrong conclusions, whatever, but he is at least open to going through this process. And like you said, even in public, he's telling people, you know, I thought this, and you know, so I am not going to beat him down for that.
He just doesn't break out crying. I've had enough of their tears. I've had enough of the tears.
Yeah, we have as a community, we have to learn to stop looking at the person and look at their policy. And so this is what time and time again, because they can demonize, they can call names against these people, they you know, demonize people. But what have they done in policy? What actions have they taken with these policies or advocated for certain laws, executive orders that show exactly whether or not they are a fascist, as they call Trump, which he was far from that. And we talked about this many times on the show. I mean, look at the whole COVID lockdown time. I believe recently, they just awarded I believe the lady who was had to quit her job because she wasn't going to take the vaccine. And a federal jury in Detroit awarded her $12 million just last Friday from her former Blue Cross Blue Shield employee for terminating her because she failed to take this COVID vaccine. This was something that the Biden administration was pushing. Had they had their way with the OSHA demand, thank God for the Supreme Court, it would have been millions of people who would have had to take this jab or lose their job. So that's a fascist type of dictator move, forcing people to use a jab that's hasn't been tested. So this is the type of stuff that people need to start looking at. These actions, not the people. Look at the actions.
You know, one of the things that are long lasting, at least from a healthcare standpoint, from these bad policies is that, you know, again, children from I think it's 6 months to 4 years need 3 shots of a COVID vaccine. And if you're trying to get a green card to work here in the United States, to be a naturalized citizen and that whole bit, you need to have a COVID vaccine, a spike vax. So if you got one in 2021 because, you know, you thought the world was on fire, okay, that's not enough. You could have gotten 4 back then, not enough. You need to have one from 2023 to 2024 in order to get your green card here in the United States.
Wow.
So this bad policy becomes regulation, and these regulations long outlast the politicians who put them in place. This is why it's so important. Like these nominations and secretaries and administrators of these agencies, this is why this is so important to have the right people in the right places, because had we had somebody who had their eyes on the ball, this would not be a new childhood vaccine. This would not be your child needs 3 shots of a COVID vaccine between 4 months and 6 years. This is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
One of the things I was talking to a friend today, KJ, you just kind of made me think of this. When you were saying how we look at the policies, things. One of the things with Americans, and it's sort of a double-edged sword, because we are forgiving people, right? We are. But part of that problem is that we have a very short sense of history. So we don't really trace out the policies from whatever time period. We have a short sense of history, right? I mean, and I can get it. I get it. We want to go on with our lives. We don't, raise our families, whatever, go to work, things like that. So, but it takes time to look at a historical perspective and put something in that historical perspective and then trace out the policies or the consequences, whatever the case may be. So all of these things play into this. So again, when you said, KJ, that, it's the policies to look at, well, if we have a very short memory, then many of us are not going to see the consequences of those policies, at least not right away.
And, if you call it out, people call you a conspiracy theorist or, some weirdo or, names. When we first started talking about COVID, the United States had a pretty good grip on it. And then here comes the World Health Organization. And kind of, when I tell you they mess things up, do you guys remember H1N1?
Mm-hmm.
No, most Americans don't. You know why? Because we handled that. We handled it with precision. There was no lag time. We were on it, above it, and over it inside of a year. We could have done tremendous work on this COVID thing. However, we had to dance to the rest of the world's tune. That was a huge mistake.
It is interesting. Just real quick, just as an aside, talking about history and policy, you mentioned the H1N1. Many Americans, I'll say, probably don't realize, and I'm not saying this as to put them down, that flu is probably the most deadly or what do you call it? Oh God, virulent virus around the world every year. The flu.
Yeah, it's because it's a lack of education. It's a lack of education. And so this is why, as we were mentioning earlier about Trump's picks, the one that I am most excited about is what is he going to do with RFK Jr.? Because everyone, the pharmaceutical industry is shaking in their boots, waiting to see what RFK Jr. is going to be in charge of, because they know that he's got it out for them. And they had some type of big emergency meeting, according to, I think it was the Federalist was reporting, saying that they're waiting to see what job, what appointment he is going to get, because they know that he is going to turn the pharmaceutical industry inside out. They've talked about how he's going to ban them from advertising in the media. Banning pharmaceutical advertising. So, these predatory commercials trying to convince people to take all of these drugs and things like that. I mean, the list goes on. These, again, what they have, these children having to, get jabs, 4 and 5 jabs before they can, they're still like in their mother's arms. So this is what I'm excited about. I am really excited about what he's going to do and when he can get started with that, because this is I don't know how anybody can forget the lockdowns. I mean, this is etched in my memory, being locked down in our homes, all the things that our children went throughout these lockdowns, schooling, playgrounds closed, beaches were closed, restaurants. Well, some areas in Baltimore City still have not gotten back to the vibrant way they were prior to the lockdowns, because some restaurants just weren't able to reopen once they finally allowed them to do so. So this was a major, the amount of college kids and high school kids that lost so much, that graduated during that time, were so far behind. I mean, the list goes on. I can't even see how anyone could forget about this. I hope they never do. That was draconian. That was fascist, what they did to us during that time period.
Well, I mean, you know, KJ, you know, I'm with you there. And, you know, I always got to tell my story during COVID time. You know, I didn't, you know, granted, a lot of things were closed, but I remember on purpose, I would get in my car and drive up and down the street just because they said, don't go out. I did it. And I literally did it. I went out. I went to the park, took my child. We walked, played on the playground. It was pretty much empty because American Mouse was afraid. Seriously, I mean, it was just I thought that was one. When I first heard when they were closing down, telling people not to go to the hospital for their cancer treatments or surgeries, I knew right then and there, even before, but that cemented that it was a scam. And I've been calling it a scamdemic ever since.
Yeah. Listen, I worked every day of the pandemic. You know, my medical offices were open. The thing that I think, you know, every dark cloud has a silver lining. One of the things that I really, really loved is the lack of traffic. You know, that was a beautiful thing for me. You know, I could get around the state really easily, but getting to where I needed to be, and I got there and there was nobody. Right. And that was probably the most startling thing is we have this amazing energy as Americans when we're together in one space, right? Exactly. You can feel it. It's palpable. It makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Imagine going somewhere where there should be that energy and there is none. It is the weirdest feeling, and it kind of chips away at who you are as a human being because you feel less human because you have less human contact. And they did that purposely. They did that
exactly.
They flattened the entire nation purposely, absolutely purposely.
Oh yeah, definitely. And speaking of this type of craziness, madness that we've seen over the last couple of years. Well, before I show you guys this, I want to acknowledge our super chatters. Folks, thank you so much. We certainly appreciate you.
Yes,
so we have here, let's see here, Vita with the $2 super chat.
Hey, Vita.
The CDC told NYU Langone to stop COVID testing. Oh, yeah, there's been a lot of news out lately, not just with that, but these jabs. I mean, what was it? I think somewhere in Europe, they totally banned them. No more, because they said that the results that they're seeing in children specifically are diabolical. Laura Matisse with a $5 super chat says Joe Biden told Donald Trump today that he was glad he won over Kamala.
Wow, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, well, they met. They did. I saw they did meet today.
Okay.
So thank you so much, Jay, with the $5 super chat says Charlamagne, Biden, and Stephen A. all voted for Trump. I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did. Rayco Wright with the $2 super chat says, love you, Nicole Bennett, with your beautiful self.
Oh, thank you, Rayco. Thank you.
Oh, nice. Yes. Thank you all so much. Please continue to hit that like button. We want to keep this broadcast up in the YouTube algorithm. And so that certainly helps us to do that. All right. So guys, have you heard about this story? Oh my goodness. Out of California. So Vita, you may have heard this. Southern California high school teacher lashed out in a classroom after President Trump won the election. It was this teacher, this guy is supposed to be a popular teacher at Chino High School. You should hear what he said to students for wearing a Trump hat. Take a look at this clip.
Reaction to the presidential election, specifically to one of his students wearing a Trump hat the day after the election.
Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez is live with that story now. Christina?
Yeah, and it's interesting because even the parents who reached out to us about this were telling me that this is a very popular teacher, has been here for a long time. As far as anyone knows, has never had an issue like this until students in a class got this in their cell phones. Listen.
I'm pissed. People voting for freaking rapists. I'm pissed off.
It's the voice of a Chino High teacher reacting to a student walking into his class wearing a Trump hat the day after the election.
Turn it off and go back to your freaking seat now. Go. Take the Please, a boy who has a Trump hat on, and I'm not going to tolerate it today. Bye-bye.
Unfortunately, this video is real.
The president of the Chino Valley Unified School Board of Education, which Chino High is part of, says they are looking into this.
Teachers are not supposed to bring their political views, whether this is, on something else or specifically on this election. It should never happen.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I have a daughter. I have 3 nieces. He raped them, and it's people are voting for him. The Christians are voting for him. Bunch of losers.
God knows what this teacher could be capable of doing in a fit of rage.
He's just one of several parents concerned about the teacher's behavior.
You cannot scream at a kid and call someone names over a political person. Is wrong. So I don't mind kids being corrected, but in the proper way, not over some political stuff.
I don't care. Fire the hell out of me. I'm fighting for my daughter, my nieces, their rights.
If this teacher unfortunately has to be the example of what not to do, we need to move forward and address this behavior. And then we also have an opportunity now to say, hey, no more of this. Let's bring the kids together. Let's not bring in our own personal views, and let's respect each other, whether it's political or something else. Let's have respect for each other.
Wow. Now, we did reach out to the teacher in question. He has not returned our calls or emails.
Did you think he would?
He should be fired. He should be fired.
Wow.
Listen, libs of TikTok had probably 8 or 9 teachers featured on their X feed who have done even worse. The one teacher was in her doorway, daring people to come fight her. And then you talk about a foul mouth. This woman had a terrible mouth. It's ridiculous to me that these are the people who are supposed to be teaching our children tolerance and good sportsmanship and respect for others with differing opinions. These people are unhinged.
Yeah,
absolutely
they
unhinged.
are. There was an administrator, I think a college or university in Seattle or Washington, I think he was put on administrative leave because he literally told students to go jump off a bridge. Okay, literally. And he was serious, right? It wasn't said in jest. So he was put on administrative leave while they investigate that. That's number one. Showed his face, everything, no qualms about it. Teachers and people in positions like this that literally have gotten away with over the years, they have been allowed to act like this with zero consequences. I'm saying collectively, maybe we were afraid, again, because of their title and their position. They also had the media, by and large, pumping up, making it seem like their view was the only view, like as if there was no opposition, no credible opposition, to their views. These people, our universities and schools, public schools, are really temples of the left. This is where they get to bring all their ideas and their doctrines and their theories and play them off on real people and real lives and without consequences. Remember, this is a religion to them. This is a religion. That teacher was basically one of the high priests, if you will, or maybe one of the archdiocese priests, and that he's upset that someone is going against his doctrine.
Here's an idea. Just imagine, God forbid, and thank you, Lord, for not letting it happen. But if Kamala had won, what would they have said to these children who come from conservative households? Kids who they know are Christian and have conservative backgrounds. It would have been relentless on these children, on their ethics, on their character. We have got to change the way education is run in this nation. I am so excited about what's going to happen at the Department of Education at the federal level and giving these states back, control over their classrooms. Now, I feel bad for people in California. I'm sorry, but the rest of the nation is looking pretty good for us to get a handle on what kids are being taught in the classroom. And we need more transparency because clearly this teacher felt confident enough to act this way in front of these students. It was not his first time.
No. I want to know, because this is not a one-off, as you all have mentioned, who is hiring these types of teachers? This needs to go back to the administration. Why? We can pick out these kind of teachers in a lineup. They got the colored hair. They got the flags all through their rooms. They got the military rings. They got the rings all over the faces. Why are they hiring them?
because
As
the
a
same people
teacher,
that are hiring them think like they do.
Exactly.
that's unacceptable.
The
It's
illness is spreading.
unacceptable. We should not know your politics. You know, I was a poli-sci. I was always involved in politics, even in high school.
Right.
And I can't tell, maybe one teacher I can remember, and I think she was on the left. But nobody else, you never knew. We always had very energized and critical thinking discussions on both sides. I remember having really heated debates in my classrooms. At the time, I was a leftist, and I would go toe to toe with different classmates and things. And you know, what is this? They wouldn't even allow something like this now.
This is their religion. The schools and the universities are their temples. They have little temples, just like a church or any other religious organization. You have ministries all over, you know, your area. The temples and the universities and the schools are their temples. And they unfortunately added to make it worse is that many of these are public taxpayer dollars.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we need to start calling out, these administrators. You know, when we see something like this with a teacher going off the handle, I want to talk to the administrator. Why did you hire this person? You know, how did they present in the interview?
Exactly.
Why are they allowed to speak their personal views to my child or in the classroom? This is unacceptable. And I think someone in the chat said that they were fired. Thank goodness. I see Vita with the $2 super chat. Says Depo Povera, how many took that shot? Oh, she's talking about the birth control. Yeah, that's something they pushing on teens. Just in commercials, doctors are always pushing it. So Jay Hunter Lee,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Jay Hunter Lee with the $5 super chat says Jamal Bryant should be voted out new birth and be replaced by Geno Jennings. Oh, I love Geno Jennings. They
on scripture.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Look, go ahead. Then we got another one.
LAPD Squad with the $5 super chat says your panels though on April Ryan and her book Black Women Will Save the World. Oh, he's
didn't
asking
even read it.
Our thoughts. Yeah,
I didn't read it. I didn't even read. Didn't read it. Didn't buy it. Don't intend to.
I didn't read it either. No, I didn't read it either. It's from woke nonsense. Kung Fu CJ with the $5 super chat. So there was a student that crushed his whole class in Chicago about Trump. Wow. We should read that book and do a review of it.
Which one? April Ryan?
Yeah. Read it and do a review. No Compromise with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. She says they have been allowed to get away with this nonsense. Conservatives have to stop apologizing for who we are and what we stand for. They have lost the moral high ground. They never deserved it in the first place. I
absolutely
100% agree.
Absolutely.
Down Eyes with the $5 super chat says had a meeting with an insurance agent today. He went off when he found I voted for Trump. What type of professional would argue with a potential client? Don't give him your business.
First of all, why is he even asking you who you voted for? That's not his.
They bring this up every chance they get.
No, I know. I'm just saying there's no that's not even professional. That's crossing the professional lines and the scope of whatever that, in that case, insurance, whatever that's for. But back to no compromise. You are exactly right. You're absolutely right. Conservatives, we have conservatives, Republicans, whatever, in many areas that we have an affinity, if you will, or forte. We need to be in those areas. We need to be, I may not be in the financial arena, whatever. KJ may be in something else, but whatever the area is, whatever the niche is, whatever the affinity is, we need to be in it so that we can at least, I always like to say, I like to at least have my voice on record, have my say on record. I might not get my way, might not get my vote, but I at least want to speak for myself and go on record with whatever it is that I am supporting and why.
I want to say conservatives need to come out of the closet. Okay. The time is now. When you think of how many people are afraid to wear a MAGA hat, when you think of how many people are afraid to put a bumper sticker or a sticker on your window with conservative leaning things on it, it is ridiculous to me that half of this nation, maybe 3/4 of this nation, have to hide who they are for fear of offending someone else. America has gotten really, really limp-wristed, I would say, in the last 8 to 10 years. And we need to get over that. We need to get over it in the first place. You have to stop saying, well, we can't talk about difficult things. Of course we can. That's the whole goal. We learn when things don't go well by talking, communicating. You don't take your ball and go home and cry and make a TikTok. That's not how this is supposed to work. That's not how any of this is supposed to work. Talking to your family, Thanksgiving, pre-alcohol, let's say that, before y'all to open the wine and do all of that. Having an honest conversation with your family, because this is your family, right? Regardless of who you voted for, you still love these people and they still love you. And you're still have that divine connection given to you by God. Can we not just be respectful of that?
Right.
You know, I mean, it makes no sense to me that people are like burning every bridge they've ever had based on an election that half of them couldn't tell you what it was about.
Nope. Yeah.
Foolishness.
I want to end this on a nice, sweet note, talking about family. Folks, have you guys looked into Donald Trump's eldest granddaughter, Kai Madison Trump? What a sweetie. Well, she has a vlog. She was logging or vlogging the up until the election night with Trump. Mm-hmm. So she was from her makeup to actual they were all together watching the what do you call it?
The election.
Yeah, watching the election, but watching the returns right. Come in. And this was the sweetest video. Take a look at her doing. You talk about, before we do it, people always talk about Trump, and we saw the Biden's family, we saw Obama's family. Now, of course, Trump's sons and daughters are all adults. Mm-hmm. He has a remarkable family.
He does.
I mean, and again, I know every family have their issues, but when you look at, just from face value at least, his family and the caliber of these people, it's magnificent. It's magnificent. She's a golfing phenom, from what I hear.
Yeah,
she's very good on the golf course. I believe she's in high school. But this was beautiful. Take a look at this.
I'm ready to party up tonight, and hopefully we catch a dub.
That's a great picture.
You want to sign the left? Oh wait, that's what I'm working. Shoot right across. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I am here in my house getting ready for the election night at Mar-a-Lago and the convention center. I think today we're going with straight hair. Jessica's going to do my amazing makeup. I am still trying to pick a dress out. I have not picked one. I have 4 dresses. They're all black, but they're all different. So I haven't chosen yet, but we'll see what happens. This seems to be a recurring problem. I always wait last minute. I mean, literally, we're about to leave in 30 minutes, and I still haven't picked anything yet. So we're going to Mar-a-Lago soon in like 30 minutes, and I'm just gonna see my grandpa. I have family dinner.
Like any great machine, your body is an integrated.
Okay. We could do one big family shot.
Everyone good with flash?
That's dark mag.
That's Elon Musk is there with them too.
3, 2, 1. One more. Gotcha.
Perfect. That's great. Why don't we do a family shot? Elon, you have to have a picture with your boy. So we have to get Elon with his boy.
Okay. Absolutely.
He's a family guy.
That's a great picture.
Family? You got it? Laura?
That's a great, big, beautiful family.
3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
Look at him smiling. That is the apple of his eye.
All right, guys. So now we're gonna head over to the convention because I have like family, friends there, and all that. I'm gonna go over there. I'm eating a cookie because I just have not eaten anything today. I'm excited to see everyone. Let's go.
She's a sweet little girl.
Mm-hmm. That's my cousin Mikey. He tore his pet. He tore it. That's Tristan. What up? He wants to sign the lens. Oh wait, that's not marker. Shoot right across.
They're just moving about.
Hi guys, so I'm back with Emma. Emma, what kind of Nutella do you like? Like Nutella on a croissant, Nutella on a baguette, Nutella on a spoon, Nutella ice cream, Nutella with pretzels.
Teenagers.
Nutella, please sponsor us. So it's funny because everyone at our school is making fun of Emma for saying Nutella. You guys in our vlog. So now everyone just calls her Nutella. It was Adam. It was Adam.
He clicked me so bad. I'm so mad. And same with the Halloween Horror Nights vlog. Click us up, even though that's like loud. It's usually like ASMR. Like this. ASMR.
Everyone's making fun of me. I'm gonna take it off of me. I was like, security. Security.
Emma's asking for better tips.
Security. What?
Emma's asking for better tips.
Okay.
Do her so dirty. Whoever edits this, do her so dirty. Don't do me dirty. Are you telling me to? So I went to go buy my Rice Krispie, and then you know what she said? She said it tastes better with Nutella. Love that. Love that. I'm stressed eating though. I can't stop eating like sweets because I'm so stressed right now.
Me too, Kai. Me too.
He had like 21.5 points in 2016.
Right. I mean, this is really sweet. I mean, she's just going through she's vlogging, you know, the behind the scenes things that occurred election night, watching everything. I mean, it's really sweet.
I think it's wonderful. You know, as much as people paint him as a demon and, you know, this horrible, horrible person, you see him through her eyes, and this is just her grandpa, you know, and she sees him as just a very, very, very loving grandfather.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the things that the left or many people, never Trumpers, they don't like about Trump. This is what they don't like, because he's just real. He's a grandpa. He's a dad. You know, he's a husband. He's just a real. He loves his family. He has fun with them. You can see that his grandchildren, his children adore him. They know all about his scandals that he's had. Everybody does. So it's nothing that's secret, if you will. So, but guess what? They still love him. He still treats them well. Whatever, again, all of his scandals, embarrassments, things like that, that's for him to have to answer for. But he can still be lovable, and he can still love them.
Well, listen, he said he calls her every day. And sometimes she has to remind him that, you know, she's in school, but she learned to golf from him. So she works on her golf swing. He works on, she says that he still kicks her butt, and he, you know, plays her for real, not like a grandpa that would let her win, but she has a scholarship to college for golf.
Good.
For golf. You know, so I think that's a beautiful relationship. You know, we had a chance to see them together briefly at the RNC convention, and it was wonderful because she is very much, as the way she appeared in the video, a teenager. She was absolutely.
I want you guys to see this part where she talks about after. This is after he won, and just take a look at this little part where she talks about him.
Just celebrating my family, and it was just a really special moment for all of us. I'm extremely proud of him. I think he deserves it more than anyone in the whole entire world, and he really has worked his butt off every single day for the past really 8 years, or really since 2016, for this country. He's such an incredible person and such a unique person, and he just fights every single day for America over and over and over again, and he will never give up. There's just no other way to describe him but incredible. I just finished playing 18 holes with him. It was his first time playing in probably 90 days or more. It was just so nice to like spend that time with him, especially like him coming back on the golf course and just spending really just like family time together. It really just surprises me how he just does everything on his own, and he really just doesn't take any breaks, doesn't do anything really besides work. And it's just like truly motivating to see that every single day and have that as a role model, because when I grew up, I wanted to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that sweet?
It is.
To know that our president has a good family life, you know, a decent family life. He has grandkids that look up to him. This is what we want to see. And I guess it wouldn't be so not shocking, but we wouldn't make such a big deal about it if the press didn't demonize Trump in such a way that, it's nice to see these things. She loves him. She adores President Trump, her grandpa.
Listen, I do too. But if you love Trump, click that like button.
Yeah.
So we can keep showing you these cutesy family videos, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I love that they don't appear. She doesn't appear. She appears to be a 17-year-old girl. They don't appear to be jaded. They don't appear to be arrogant and excessive. At least, again, I don't know them, but at least they don't come across that way.
Yeah, I love that they had a whole, conversation about Nutella. That was the issue that they were having. It when
they thought that would be something that you record and post. Yeah,
exactly. Like teenagers. Okay, no, stop saying Nutella because people are talking about the video because you said it too much. You know what I mean?
Right.
It just goes to show you how they've managed to keep this child and their children normal, like regular kids. I think that's amazing. I think it's amazing that she only had 4 dresses to choose from.
Right.
And she had to make that work. And her hairstyle choices were either curly or flat iron. There's 2 things you get to choose. So that tells me there's some really strong parenting that's going on in that house.
Normal, just normal.
Yeah, normal. That's what it is. Normal. Yeah. So I do want to acknowledge our super chatters, folks. Thank you guys so much. Certainly appreciate you. Vito, the $2 super chat.
Vito, thank you.
Life and experience. I learned I'm a conservative. Absolutely. Same here. Same here. Vita, thank you. She also says, I was adopted in 1972. Save our babies.
Oh, yes. I love it, Vita. Thank you.
Yes, Vita. $5 super chat says, I found my biological mother October 2020.
Wow.
We still will not tell her children about me. I am blessed that she chose to keep me. God is great. Absolutely.
Amen.
But we don't hear enough stories about people who were adopted, when we're talking about abortion and things like that. So thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Absolutely.
Laura with the $5 super chat says, seeing this really melts my heart. Trump is a good person. Yeah, our commander in chief, like we used to say, Daddy's home. Yes. Daddy's back. Daddy is back home in the White House.
Trump's everybody's daddy now, ain't he? Look.
That's right. That's right. All right.
Don't get me started, Shelly.
Yeah.
You know how many NFL players and college football players did that dance over the weekend? Oh wow. My gosh, it was so delicious to see.
Really?
Tell our viewers, if you haven't seen us, go on our page, our viewers, because we did the dance. Was it last week or the week before? Last week we did the Trump dance, so you gotta go on our page and check it out.
Yeah, Ren Button with the $10 super chat says, wow, children are true blessing. He is such a good role model for his kids and his grandkids. I love that she said that her grandpa will never give up. Absolutely. Yes, she did. And we know it because he said, fight, fight, fight. I mean, how many of us would have just, if you would have probably just stopped and just said, this is enough. They've tried to come after my money. They've tried to come after my family, my life. I'm giving up. They can have it. I mean, how many of us would have done that? I know many of us would have.
Yeah.
Many of us are afraid to even wear a Trump hat to the grocery store.
For fear of people looking at you cross-eyed.
Right,
yeah.
Right. Yeah. So we have another super chatter here. All right. Let's see here. Mark Slater with the $20 super chat. Says the Harris campaign is the biggest money laundering scheme yet. They knew she wasn't going to win. Yeah, they just broke news today or yesterday, I should say, that she gave what's his name? With the perm. Al Sharpton.
Well, Al Sharpton.
She gave Al Sharpton was $250,000 before
what?
Before he interviewed her. She donated $250,000. It was $250,000 or $500,000 to his
pay, his organization.
Yeah,
she did. She did the whole set for that Call Me Daddy podcast. Right. That cost almost $200,000. And then there was the the Beyonce concert that never was.
Right.
You know, she paid I think it was like $4 or $5 million for that. Oprah had a $1 million show up clause to her second.
But she's denying now. She says that it was to her production company. Like she owns a production company.
Of course, her production company is a tax loophole for her. So she absolutely paid the taxes that she should be paying on that money. But when you think about, and you ladies know this, if you're a political donor, you're giving your hard-earned money. Whether you're very rich or very poor, you're giving the money that you made, sweat of your brow, you know, the gift of your hands, however you made your money, you're making a significant donation, $10 if you only have 100 or $1 million if you got several of them, right? It's still a transfer of trust that happens there. I'm giving you this money to be a good steward, to get out here and convince these voters that you're the right thing, that what we're trying to do is the right thing. And then you turn around and give Meg Thee Stallion $1 million to do Body and miss half the lyrics. Do you know what I mean? Like what? And then all the poor suckers who showed up thinking they were going to get a free Beyonce concert and had to come and listen to her talk about her and her mama talk about abortion, right? Yeah. It was just a colossal waste of money. But what I'm hearing through the rumor mill is that some of these Democrat donors want to sit down and have a talk about, you told me she was going to win, and I wrote this heavy check, and now we're out of our money. And now
$1 billion. She raised $1 billion.
Not only out of our money, but now we're out of power.
Oh,
and we're being roasted publicly. So donors don't like it when you ask me for $1 million and then you don't deliver the product. That's a problem. The good news for us from conservative circles is maybe, just maybe, this is what it's going to take to bring them back to the center, to bring them back to the theory of being a good American is more important than being a crappy Democrat, right?
All right.
Let's hope.
Yeah. Well, all right, guys. Well, that does it for us tonight. You have one more super chat here. Yes. I think that was Vita with the $5 super chat.
Thank you, Vita.
She says, we need to teach our children that our melanin in birthing babies is sacred. Why are Black women promoting abortion rights? It's terrible. I mean, we're hopefully people are starting to wake up to this. But everything is all topsy-turvy with that. And we've talked about that before. I mean, they push sexualizing, over sexualizing everything on one hand, and then on the other hand, they push an abortion on demand. So it's all by design. Yeah. But that does it for us tonight, Oh yeah, that's that's Wow, I don't think we can play that on here. Yeah, that's us doing the dance. To that song, yeah. So we can have some fun. But yeah, so we will see you guys again on either Friday or Saturday. We will see you guys this weekend. I can't believe it's already Wednesday. Goodness gracious, time is flying. So before we know it, it'll be Thanksgiving. So it'll be some nice. We want to hear all your Thanksgiving stories, people.
All right.
So people in the chat, if you get into a talk when we come back on here around Thanksgiving or whatever, please share what happened during your Thanksgiving dinners with family, with friends. Was it pleasant? Did you guys talk about the election? Did you not talk about it? Was there any sparks flying? We want to hear it all.
Poke the bear. Buy yourself some merch and wear your merch to dinner. Yes. And then when they ask you what it's about, that's when you break out with
Yeah, we got some cool shirts on our website. One is Not Black, Not White, American. And so that's kind of like my favorite one right now. And that'll be cool to wear, for holiday or like Thanksgiving. It's really nice, comfy shirt, but it says a message, but it's not very confrontational. It's nice conversation starter. You're like, oh, what's that mean? It's like, we're all Americans, here. It's just not Black, not white, American. So, all right, folks. Well, we will see you.
We got two more super chats real quick.
Ren Biden with the $10 super chat says all the expenses for her campaign, the Hollywood stars, Oprah, Beyonce, Sharpton, etc., still only accounts for maybe $100 million, whereas the other 90 million, wow, 900 million.
Yeah, she had $1 billion.
Wow. We will never know, but thank God I didn't give any of mine. I didn't give her 2 cents. Vita, she says, I still can't give memberships. We gotta
figure that out. Figure that out.
figure out what's going on with that. Yeah.
All
Thank
right.
you all.
All right, then. Well, thank you all. You have a wonderful night, and we will see you soon. Until next time, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night. What's up, guys? We are the ladies of Pop and Politics, and guess what? We have merchandise.
We got merch. Check it out.
We have a website, www.popandpoliticslive, where you guys can pick up the latest merchandise that we have here. Here's something. I use this every morning for my cup of tea. It's a Pop and Politics mug. Yeah, I drink every morning tea. Yeah. And I love it. So definitely check it out. We've got some cute shirts on there. Shelly, you have a shirt there that you love, right? Yes, cute shirt. And so definitely check it out. Again, www.popandpoliticslive.com. Appreciate the support. All right.
Go there now.
Yes.
There you go.